Listen up. Before this story even takes its first breath, do me one favor that helps keep these American war stories alive. If you believe courage under fire matters, if you respect the men who carry the flag into places no one wants to go, hit subscribe right now, because what you're about to hear isn't just a story. It's a reminder of why shadows still haunt battlefields long after the guns go quiet. And it starts like this. The SEALs were already surrounded when the first man disappeared. Not aggression with a scream or a shot, but with the soft, wrong sound of silence, the kind that crawls into your chest and tightens there. And they were deep in a valley that didn't exist on any civilian map, a ragged bowl of shale and scrub cut into the spine of a hostile mountain range where the sun arrived late and left early, and 12 of them had been inserted under a moon, so thin it looked like a scar, tasked with capturing a high-value target who never showed, because intelligence, as it often does, was already lying to them, and the ambush came not as a roar, but as a feeling, a pressure change in the air, as if the land itself had decided it didn't want them there, radios crackling with half-words and static, while their Overwatch drone went dead without warning. And that was when Chief Ryan Cole, 20 years in the teams and more scars than he bothered to count, realized they weren't being hunted by a force. They were being studied by something patient, because the first body they found wasn't shot, wasn't cut, wasn't even obviously touched, just laid gently against a rock as if placed there, rifle missing, night vision gone, eyes open and reflecting starlight. And Cole felt a cold, professional fear he hadn't felt since his first deployment, the kind that tells you the rules have changed and no one told you how. And as they pulled into a defensive ring, backs to stone, sectors overlapping, the valley answered them with echoes that didn't match their movements, footsteps where no one stood, a shadow on the hill that shifted when no cloud passed. And then the second man went down, a soft thud behind them, and this time there was blood, dark and soaking into dust, a single puncture beneath the ear like a surgeon's mark. And the shooter never revealed himself, not muzzle flash, not report, not even the whisper of displaced air. And the SEALs did what they were trained to do, tightened, adapted, pushed uphill toward the shadow, because aggression is oxygen in a kill zone. But the hill seemed farther with every step, angles bending wrong, distance stretching, and somewhere above them, something watched with an intimacy that felt almost personal. Because when the third man died, it was the team's youngest, barely 30, and his helmet cam later showed something that never made it into any official report, a silhouette that moved against gravity, stepping down a near vertical face as if the mountain were flat ground, and the thing, man, shadow, whatever it was, tilted its head like it was curious, like it was learning them. And the twist came when Cole realized the ambusher wasn't eliminating them randomly, but dismantling the team's brain. Comms first, medic second, point man third, a pattern that screamed training. And that's when the firefight finally erupted, tracer rounds slashing the dark as the SEALs poured disciplined fury into empty space, rounds cracking stone, grenades blooming like brief artificial suns. And still the shadow remained untouched, picking them apart one by one, appearing always where they were weakest. And when their extraction bird was shot down before it even crested the ridge, a fireball tearing open the night sky, hope went with it. And men who had faced death in a dozen countries began to understand that this valley wasn't meant for survivors. And yet the story doesn't end there, because halfway through the night, as bodies lay cooling and ammo ran low, Cole finally saw the shadow clearly through thermal optics, and his blood ran colder than the mountain air, because it wasn't cold at all. It burned hot, hotter than a human should, moving with the economy of someone who knew SEAL tactics, because he had learned them the hard way, years earlier, on another deployment, another mission gone wrong, and the truth clawed its way out of memory. A black site operation buried so A black site operation buried so deep it never officially happened, where a local militia leader turned U.S.-trained asset had been betrayed, left to die in an airstrike called in by men wearing the same patch, Cold War now. And the shadow on the hill wasn't a myth or a monster. It was a man forged by abandonment, rebuilt by hate, trained by America, and then discarded. And he knew every signal, every counter, every fear. And the twist deepened when the shadow finally spoke over an open frequency, his voice calm, almost respectful, addressing Cole by name, recounting missions only ghosts should remember, telling him this wasn't revenge, it was balance. And as dawn crept in pale and merciless, the valley revealed the full horror. The seals had been maneuvered into a natural amphitheater, a place where sound died and sight lied, a place the shadow had chosen because it neutralized their greatest advantages. And one by one, as the sun rose, the last of the team fell, not in panic, but in grim acceptance, buying seconds for each other, until only Cole remained, wounded, bleeding, rifle empty, staring uphill at the man who had outplayed them all. And in the final twist that still circulates in classified whispers, the shadow didn't kill him, instead lowering his weapon and stepping back into the rocks, leaving Cole alive as a message, because some stories aren't meant to end cleanly, some are meant to be carried. And Cole was found days later by a different unit, delirious, the only survivor of an operation officially listed as a training accident. But he knows the truth, and now so do you, because somewhere in those mountains, when the light hits just right, there's still a shadow on the hill, and it remembers who taught it how to kill.